While some in Rome describe a pope who is firm and fully in command, others, with equal authority, describe a diametrically opposed reality. Where does such a profound rift come from? The answer is a single event, which acted as a detonator. The consecrations of the 4 bishops of the Society of St. Pius VI on July the 1st and the excommunication that followed. Because that act, which many believed to be a matter between Rome and a small group, ended up forcing the entire church to reveal itself, and everyone in recent days has shown their cards. By the end of this video, you'll understand why, after July 1st, the church's crisis can no longer be hidden, and why it's no longer just traditionalists who are saying it. Let's begin with an authoritative and calm voice. Cardinal Donato, Archbishop Emeritus of Galveston, Houston, returns from the consistory and reassures everyone. Texans can rest assured, he told his diocesan newspaper. Pope Leo is governing the church very, very well, gently, but decisively when necessary. And he adds, he is a canonist. In Leo, everything is done with a great sense of purpose, everything with great clarity, a portrait of order, calm, and sure guidance. It's a legitimate position, and it should be taken seriously. There are those within the church who look at Leo and see a truly prudent helmsman, who listens before speaking. But at the same time, from another part of the church, a dissenting voice is raised. And it's not that of a frenzied teenager. It is that of a Polish archbishop, Jan Paweł Lęga, a man who lived and suffered under communism in Kazakhstan, who saw priests end up in prison for their faith, a man who experienced persecution firsthand. Watching the fraternity's consecrations, Lęga said, in his own words, that he saw what peace, what joy, what an atmosphere of prayer, what solemnity. He added, nothing like this is seen in the post-conciliar church anymore. Then, the contrast that strikes him. In the fraternity, there is a life of prayer. There are young people. New churches are being built, and they don't want to separate themselves from the See of Peter. These are harsh words toward Rome, which we report as his opinion. It must be said clearly, Lęga, like other elderly prelates, reaches extreme judgments about Leon that we do not share, because for us, the Pope remains the Pope. But the contrast he highlights between the vitality of tradition and the crisis all around is difficult to ignore. And here they are, the two images, side by side. On one side, the Pope governs very well. Everything is clear. On the other, a church that so many see as torn by divisions and in pain. These two things can't both be true. Either you govern very well, or you're in the midst of a crisis that breaks the hearts of the faithful. And here, a commentator, Frank Wright, intervenes on an episode of LifeSite News TV with a cutting observation. No one, Wright says, would call the head of a company or the ruler of a nation excellent if that company or nation were in the state the church is in today. Calling it excellent government, he says, is a curious departure from reality. And there's a detail, reported by commentators, that fuels doubts. At the consistory, Leo reportedly asked the cardinals to show him public support, and Donato, upon returning home, duly did so. Dr. Charles Murr, on that same program, interprets it this way. When a leader has to ask for public support, it's a sign of weakness. True affection, he says, doesn't ask for anything. It arises naturally. It's his opinion, but it's thought-provoking. But the heart of the matter lies elsewhere and goes beyond individuals. It's this. After July 1st, the crisis can no longer be packaged as a clash between Rome and 4 stubborn traditionalists. Because, and this is the point that changes everything, it's no longer just traditionalists who express unease about the direction of the Church. More and more, it's bishops, priests, and canonists who aren't traditionalists at all. The Society itself explained in a single sentence the reason for those consecrations. To do them, they say, to continue to publicly denounce the errors present in the current magisterium and thus safeguard the integrity of the Catholic faith. Whether one agrees with this or not, it is a position, not a whim. And here comes the move that sparked the debate, the canonical appeal. The Society challenged the decree of excommunication by invoking the law of the Church itself. Monsignor Vigano also praised it. He considers the appeal a correct and timely move, forcing the Holy See to reveal its true intentions. The appeal forces us to raise the fundamental question: are those consecrations a schism or a defense of the perennial faith? Now someone will have to respond with arguments in front of everyone. And canonists agree on one point. Until the case is decided, the appeal suspends the decree's effects. Even church law, the only thing that remained virtually unchanged after the council, is now used as a defense. Meanwhile, the paradox becomes almost grotesque. Several bishops are warning the faithful against attending the fraternity's masses. But the same bishop who bans the old mass, it turns out, participates without hesitation in an interfaith ceremony, not in the mass of the old mass, but in a rite of another religion. Yes, it's the double standard that many are now noticing. A priest on the program tells a bitter story. In confession, they forgive you every sin. But if you say, "I attend traditional mass," it seems to become the unforgivable sin. Put like that, it's the absurd rule. And there are those, like Father Mur, who interpret the furious reaction against the old mass in an even disturbing way. He tells of a parish priest in Madrid who, at the mere word Tridentine, exploded. A reaction, he says, that has something unnatural about it. At this point, however, let's pause, because amid all this noise, we risk falling into the opposite error. The fact that so many today criticize the direction of the Church does not authorize anyone to declare the Pope deposed or to build a parallel church. The Pope remains the Pope. Sedevacantism, whatever some may say, remains a dead end. And the fraternity itself reiterates it. It does not want to separate from Peter, but to be recognized within the Church of Rome. Those who appeal to Roman law are not founding another religion. The real point, then, is another. It's that a single act, the consecrations of July 1st, served as a mirror, revealing a crisis that had been there for some time, but which many pretended not to see. Some deny it and repeat that everything is fine. Some exaggerate it to the point of collapse. And there is a narrow and correct path. Honestly, acknowledge the crisis, remain faithful to the doctrine of all time, and pray, especially for the Pope, that he may govern with the clarity the Church expects. Because, as an old priest on that program said, today's faithful must not be afraid to look problems in the face, not to judge anyone, but to grow in faith, with open eyes and a steadfast heart. In the end, the fraternity's consecrations will pass, but the question they raised will remain. What kind of church do we want? One that chases the world, or one that protects Christ? Facts, one day, will provide the answer. What do you think? If you liked the video, comment Amen. God bless you.